Okay, Devils, how are we doing today? Here we are, Wednesday the 15th, kind of middle of the day. And what I thought we'd do today, we'll look at some alts relative to Bitcoin. Seems to be some more interesting chart patterns and some technical setups and opportunities. Now, before we do that, you guys, I got to just bear with me here. We're at 13 days left in this contest. Enter, email, Twitter, simple tasks. The app will guide you through it. Tweets, retweets, likes, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, the big one is join the free Discord. I'm over here on our site. Come over to plans and prices. Come over here, do free if you prefer that. And then it would be worthwhile to look at what comes with that. We get a lot of questions. Say, do I get the live streams? Because we're live streaming now 3 times a week. For those of you interested in futures trading, I would tell you there'd be some real value just to be able to come over and join us and consider the live stream as just another kind of real-time learning opportunity. It's very much tied to the indicators that we have custom designed here for NinjaTrader, and we do it with constantly updating and adding new things there. So I think there would be some things of interest to you. And now that we have the micros as an option, this is really available to anyone. So there you go, right? Just a reminder, we're at 13 days. Pretty good little prize package here. Okay, with that said, let's go over here. So I was looking around today going, all right, how are we doing relative to the dollar? Not so good, but a little bit stronger here relative to Bitcoin. So perhaps some opportunities here. At least it's enough to go start looking. Okay, well, we know Bitcoin's a little soft at the moment. So I thought we'd go through perhaps the top 9 or 10 coins here. I'm going to do it just alphabetically. Now, Cardano is probably the what I think is of everything we've got here to look at of these 10 coins is my least desirable. Not because I don't love Cardano. So Cardano has really a very enthusiastic base of supporters. Nothing against Cardano. It's just technically this until we get out of this range, I think we're just kind of stuck here. Nothing. I know that's an 8-hour, but it's not good enough really to warrant even digging deeper than that. Let's get out of this range, then we'll come back here and revisit this. Now, how about Binance Coin? Now, I'm going to go, let's go to a 3-hour here because this, I think, a little more interesting. Now, you do have this severe drop off here, so we can certainly consider that an ABC, and then coming off of that. Now, let me open this up here and we'll come back. Okay, so coming off of this, like so many of the alts, Bitcoin as well, we have this double top here. Now, how do you count it? Well, yeah, let me pull this off here so we can see this a little bit better. I think here there's a reasonable case because there's an ABC here, ABC, ABC into the Y. So I think you can work this as a 1-2. So 1 into the 2 here. Now, we get an impulse here. And at first glance, you don't quite see it. Now, here, let me zoom in a little bit. But there's an impulse right in here. So this little impulse from here, right, is telling us something. Okay, so there's an impulse. Beautiful. So if that's 1, 2, well, I can yet again go 1, A, B, C into my 2. There's my 3, 4. Don't overlap the 1. Big kicker in the 5. Now, the geometry here is pretty sweet. So I'm just connecting the 1 and the 3, bringing it down to the 2, right? So we get the lower channel. And then I've just cloned the channel and just stacked it on top and right, just within a tick or two. So pretty solid there. So if you're looking at that, well, now keep in mind that this is implying here that we've just completed the third at this degree. So 1, 2, here's the impulse with the extension in the 5 into a third here. So we're setting up the idea that we're just going to go through a correction here and look for something like that. So this is ripe. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. It's in the process of ripening. How about I say it that way? So from the 2 down here to get up here, well, I mean, really, depending on how this unfolds, I mean, this area here would be of interest. Now, anywhere even down here, you could play off of the structure here. So something like that would be just perfect. But it's you kind of throw the 4 there, but you don't know what this is going to look like. So are we going to get 5 down? We're going to get a 3? We're going to get a flat? You just don't know. But this would be the area. So I would certainly have an alert prior to the 38.2 to trigger and kind of look left and see, is there anything here? Maybe a heads up. If we start coming back down, even this, right, that would be last stand here as we come to the 50. I mean, it's not unusual to have a retrace go to the 50 in a 4. Right? I mean, that's quite common. And you'd pick up an algo there. So anywhere really in that range here, I'd be heads up here for an opportunity to get long to try and catch the move from here up to get that target up there. If it's at the 50, you know, you got an algo behind your back there. So I'd certainly be watching here. It's not quite there yet. Maybe just getting started in the A wave. So one for a heads up there. Oh, Dash, right? So let's pull this off here. We'll look at Dash. So let me scooch back a little bit. Well, you know, the big picture, you've got this. Now we did break. So from the low here, we're well through it. Interesting here. So here's the attempt to defend, and then it rolls over. So they're to and through. So you'd be looking at the ABC. You can see the C coming here. So A, B, looks like you worked the C there just out of curiosity. All right, did we get this? So here's the 50. We got the little reaction. That was right where the golden zone was too. Right, but we end up down here, so likely that's going to be tied to, if I get this right here, get it right on pivot. So we make the 100. That's what sets up the move off of that. Now note here, I've got a shift pitchfork on this because it's not, we're not, I mean, potentially what you've got here is from here, you're getting a 1. Maybe the 2 is in. Now you're going 3, 4, and 5. Now, an awfully small one there. Let's get that so we can see it. Let's put it in white so it stands out a little bit. So potentially now there's the 1, A, B, C into the 2. So maybe your best case here is that you're just getting started with a 1, 2, 3, 4, getting the 1 of the 3. So that's the one you'd be looking for. So this is a little early here. Now, if you're dash bull as I am, this is note here. So if we can dig a 1 out of that, which is we're pushing it a little bit. Well, that's an 8 hour. Let's go down to a 1 hour. See if we can get anything we could work with in there. Well, it's within ticks of a double bottom here. So it looks like you'd have to go. Well, that's tight. This is just well, it looks like you go 1, 2. Now that's deep, I know, right? Then you'd be pulling through. Can you get a complete? Can we complete that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, you can do it. If I'm spot on that corner, you gotta get these right on it. 1, 2. I know, right? Very deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. It's tough, right? So how do you have a lot of confidence in that? It looks like that's a 5 down. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's label it, see if that helps. So from here at the next degree, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would have to be 3. We don't overlap, but that's mighty deep. So I'm a little reluctant to think 4. Considering that looks like that's the A wave down, so maybe let's here best case. All right, so this one I don't love as much. Note, so just right from the swing low, we've broken the golden zone. So already I don't like it as much. It looks like we're breaking on both sides. So this is a little sloppy in here. From this, I wouldn't trade this myself here. Even though, yeah, I see the nice edge here on the median lines. Now, failure to make the median line, don't forget, right? Trading principle number 4, failure, and this is a shift pitchfork. So failure to make the median line sets up a move equal to or greater than the swing that preceded it that failed to get there. So that's potentially what that's implying. Have to see. Now, from the swing, well, if I use the absolute 2 here, that I'm proposing the 2, still a break. If this starts to go, I'd be looking for something more like that. See if I can get in that. But this is not my favorite of the choices we have here, but just one to be aware of. Right? I'm a long-term dash bull. But this is dash to Bitcoin, right? And you know the old saying, the only reason to trade alt is to accumulate more Bitcoin, right? I'm not sure I completely agree with that, but that is certainly there are many that do. EOS, about the same, very similar. And so many of these are similar. Oh, here, let's get this blown up a little bit. So you've got all of this slop. What do you do, right? What do you do with that? So I will typically just say, okay, accumulation, something, right? I've got a range down here. So this, I really don't even care, right? So whatever it is, this is the pivot where I'm starting from. So from this, so if I can get anything meaningful from this pivot, okay, well, can I get a 5? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's not gorgeous. So this looks like you'd have to go WX. Well, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can go A, B, C. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. If I can simplify, I much prefer to. Right, simple. So it could maybe I got a 1, 2. It's not the prettiest I've ever seen. 3, 4, 5. So is this little, you know, we're trying to make a run at getting started into the 1. Well, you know there's going to be plenty of resistance before that. Really, to have any conviction, you want to get through that maybe, and then on the retrace, and then try and get position there. Another one, it's not the most desirable of all of those we're going to look at here, but we are sitting here with a slight front run on a golden. So you've got the potential for the golden corner to be in play there. Now, if I get right on, yeah, I'm right on it. And so it's a couple of ticks in front of the golden zone. There's a candidate for the 2. I know that's ugly. 1, maybe we got our 2 here. So this is, I would prefer to see that get a little further along. But if you're a bull here and you like the setup here, it's certainly you've got the potential. Right? It's always just an odds play. If this corner holds, right, 80% we get there. So there's EOS. Some of these I just like them better, right? They're just more mature in terms of the count. So here's Ethereum to Bitcoin. So pretty, some sort of triangle-ish thing here. A little break beyond. 1, so very deep 2s, all of them. But I get a little better structure here. Looks like you'd have to, oh Jesus, what? WXY, I guess. Just or A. Oh no, you can do it A, B, C that way. So I can simplify. Well, I mean, you kind of use your fib relationships here looking for help. Well, there's 2, 6, 1, 8. So if it's a 3, that's about as far as you'd, well, of course, they can go farther than that, but that would be a good range for typically what we'd look for as an extreme for the 3. Excuse me. And then we come down here in this correction. Looks like some sort of a triangle, and now we're breaking away from it. So you're, a little bit late here. It's not like you can't still see the train. So there's room for that to go. So here's looking at that. All right. Note, Vegas wave, right? Lovely, just dovetails right in. Now we get the break here. Now we're going to go. Well, how much, do we have any room underneath? Not a lot of help from the oscillator. This is volume related here, so you're not getting a lot of help. But the count would, so with 2 ways to think of this. So you could try and jump on board here and get that run. All right, but if that does complete, odds are it's just going to set up a retracement. So you'd want to pay attention to where we are from the top. So I think I've already got, oh shit, here, let me do it this way. From the top here, you'd want to be pulling, so just misses it. So if this is going to go, right, that's the big push we got to get through. But this sure does look like it's an ABC. I suppose you can make a case that you might have a diagonal getting started. These are not gorgeous. Just out of curiosity, let's see what we look like here in terms of the pivot. I don't think I got that right on there. Okay, 1, 2, 38. It's not the best looking setup, but there is for a little swing trade. Even if you went down to a 15-minute. Oh, I don't want to be in log. Here we go. 15-minute. So what do you got there? So if you're a buyer here, perhaps you wait for a little pullback off of that, assuming you're going to get one. I'd put a stop right here under the pivot of the proposed 4 if that's going to play as a triangle. So it's not, you don't have enough there to really make that worthwhile. So at this point, I wouldn't make any assumptions. Oh, well, this will be great if I get an extension in the 5th, right? I wouldn't make that assumption. So you really don't have enough juice there, which really, what that's telling you is that at this point, you got to wait, see if that completes. Get you off of here, let that complete. And if it does, well, then you've got your motive, and then I'd wait, take that. It's kind of what I see, because the risk is kind of high based on the fact that we aren't really, what are we, right? Is that just an ABC? Hard to say. Could be 1, putting in the 2. So not enough there. So I correct myself on the fly here. Not enough kick in that if that's all we're going to go. I'd wait for the retrace. All right, link to Bitcoin. Now this one is one of the more interesting. Well, so you have the long, it does appear like you've got a nice case for an impulse coming off of this, right? So there's an impulse that, you know, potentially we're completing something there, but come down here and we get this triple bottom down here. So I think you can work off of this low. Oh, I'm not overly concerned about where we are in a larger degree here off of this. If that's such a big rip and there's a clear 5 in there, so all I'd be trying to think of is, okay, if that's complete and I'm going to do an A, B, and a C, can I get on board here for that? Let me go hourly. You can see this. Now, it goes mighty deep here. I know, right, guys? I mean, I get it. Right, very deep. So, right, it's within, I mean, it's technically, right, we don't violate, so it's, oh, let's get that right there. It's not, it's an internal retracement. That's about as close as they get. I get that right there. But that is still internal, right? We are internal. Boy, for a test off of that low, look at the rip coming off of that. So I think you can go off of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1. You got a skinny 2 here. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pretty clean finish to the 5 that gets us to complete the 3, A, B, C into the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this has got a nice set of 5s to finish. Now what are we doing here? Looks like we're just underway in the A, so just pulling swing low to swing high. You know, if that's going to be the A, you'd be looking for something along these lines, right? Just standard ops. All right, whatever this is, we'd be looking for that to give us the setup for the next trade. So this is going to require a little patience, even though this is the one that's really kicking. Beautiful. So on the watch list, right, it says this is my watch list. So come over here, this area, come down here. I'm interested. Litecoin, kind of the same. I don't love. This is my least. I said Cardano was my least favorite. This would be my least favorite. Just the technically, just a big range. Trading view. Just until we get out of that, what is it? I got no help there. I think this was close. Broke by, let's see, broke by 1 tick there. I'm pretty close. If I'm right on that, that's about as close as they get. Held here, little. So that can be just somebody stopped getting run. But I wouldn't. Yeah, maybe 3, 4 double top there. It's not A, B, C. All right, yeah, I see it. But let this prove itself a little bit. So maybe you can make the case for the you'd have to do it that way. So maybe you're coming into this. I'd feel better, right, waiting for the 4 to the 5. Sometimes you're not going to get the pivot turn. So if you don't, it's kind of waiting for your pitch, right? This just looks like we're choppy sideways. So why we just roll the dice here? It's not good enough for me. XLM, all of these deep 2s are kind of interesting. So if this is going to play as a 1, 2, yeah, I'd be inclined to be thinking that is in. So how confident do we feel about that? Well, let's just use our tools. Same thing we would always do. How do we look here? Right, it's 227. Well, that's interesting. So so here's your high probability zone for a 3 ABC. So at first glance, you're kind of tempted to think this 4, but that I think not. I think you got to do it that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. I don't love that one, but that might be what you got to live with. So look at the 4 relative to the 2. So there's a little bit of a. I don't think that's a. I'm on a 60. Let's zig in there. It's pretty much just a straight kick up to the 227. So yeah, I mean, right off the bat, you start thinking, okay, well maybe expanded B, right? So I don't want to go to anything that's not just as simple as I can make it until I'm forced to. So I don't right off the bat, I don't want to start thinking, oh, expanded B wave, we're coming down the C. It's just maybe, right? Maybe that's what we got. I sure would pay attention to some of this structure if we're going to come back down. So you've got really all of this here is we're going to be support. This tied to some previous structure. So if we're done, well, the other variable here, because this is kind of deep, so I'd go on the outside. Right? Maybe you can get original to frame it. Mighty deep here. So the corner is already hit, although that, right, how would you know? That'd be tough to get that to enter there. Maybe a little bit here, but you wouldn't have known. So yeah, sure, we can use it to now frame the market. Is this the highest high right here? I'm gonna check any of these, see who's framing it best. That's the higher pivot right here. Tough one. Right, maybe this. So you could put the 25 on here. There's the 50 and the 175. So the 25 would be pretty close here. Now here's a return to the median line. So that looks more like maybe A, B. Yeah. So come here. Coming in here. We got a slightly low, so this is a slightly higher high, so maybe, but it doesn't look like it's done. So that looks like you just be, God damn it, looks like you just be starting B right before you go for that. So I think right at this point, until proven otherwise, if you get new highs, maybe, but I'd be looking down in this zone. So well, look here, all right? So look at this nice big pocket. Well, that's nicely framed right there. So if that comes down into this window, heads up. So I'd put an alert maybe at the 38 if that starts to come down, or just could buzz through. This is a stellar to Bitcoin. If that's going to go up there and kick, well, you can already see what you'd do, right? So you'd put the 5 up there, you'd put the 3 here. Maybe we end up having to live with this as a 4, and maybe there's one more, right? So you can probably get this to work here. So A, B, C, maybe right now I'd leave it there until proven otherwise, but right now it looks like that's what you got to live with. 5, 4. Got to wait and see how this resolves. But of course, as retracement traders, we'd like to buy it lower, right? Put it on sale, right? I get very interested. How am I doing? 22. Oh, XLM. Let's go to a 3-hour. Very similar, right? All of these are going to be very similar. Are we kicking up for the 5? Well, you're a little bit late here, but not so far gone. But that's where same thing we just did before. Is there enough juice in that, right? If your stop is right here, you can't even get 2 to 1. So I'd say too late. You're going to have to wait, let that complete, let it prove itself, all right? Is that going to finish the motive? Then, right? Let's be waiting for that one. Ripple, this one is, it keeps trying, right? So well, look, swing high, swing low, golden zone, right? Tags to the 618, comes down, now we get back to the 50, now we come down, golden zone. So it's technical, but there's no count here that's adding any value. What do you do with that? So maybe 1, 2, not 3, so maybe that's 1 of 3. But just looking at it here, you're stuck between the 50 and the golden zone. Then include this, and you're stuck between 2 golden zones. So there's nothing you can do here. Well, unless you just want to buy it to own it, right? Or if you're a hodler, but there's no technical setup here that really would warrant a new trade. All right, so I think that covers us. There's 2023. That'll probably do us for today. All right, there you go. So again, reminder, live streams going on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's an option for you. So if you're interested in the live streams, the way to get guaranteed access, we make it available to the free every now and then. But you just social will get you access to those. That's the $49 a month, pretty reasonable, right? Gets you access to everything but the belt system. All right, guys, there you go. We'll wrap it there. Have a good afternoon. We'll catch you